Alright, welcome back, boys and girls, to the PGBL. I know it's been a long time coming here for the championship game. Definitely, there was some stalling in the playoffs. We had the semifinals weeks ago posted. So, yeah, it's been a little while because the other bracket took a little while, and then, we had some issues scheduling, with Dr. Slacking, who is an amazing battler. Make sure you check him out. He's, really a great YouTuber, if you like, narrated, Wi-Fi battles. But anyway, he has come in here at 7-2. We actually did go head-to-head in the regular season, a match that I ended up winning. That was the debut, if you might recall, of Espeon, and it did amazingly. It just juked him out in certain ways. And I did like my prep going into that match. I'm actually not going to change a whole lot going into this one. I've kind of been tweaking this team all week. Hoping maybe to pull off a win here against Dr. Slacking and his Bowland Bovines. Yeah, so let's go ahead and just remind you guys what the teams are since it's been like a month. There's my Miami Dolphiones. Like I said, only one loss this season, and we're not playing that guy, so that's good. Yeah, I just really fond of my team, and let me just remind you about his. He does obviously have a lot of scary threats, including that Scizor, which he actually didn't bring last time, I believe. And he surprised me a little bit last time. I mean, the Mega Zam is super scary too, and so is the Hydreigon. But there was a few things that he didn't bring last time that were surprising. I think he didn't bring the Scizor the first time. So we're going to go ahead and see if he double takes that. That and the Lucario are two steel types that could potentially stop Mimikyu, who has been kind of my ace in the hole all season. But aside from that, I mean, nothing really changed. I mean, I don't think he's made any transactions the first time I fought him, although you can kind of see what the transactions he made before, because this is still just the one I edited from the first match because he did make a few transactions earlier on. Yeah, so the Dodrio is going to be scary for me as well. But the Mega Zam is always going to be the worst thing. But maybe I can set up a sweep here with Mimikyu, or some other way to win. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into the match. Don't want to take any more time, even though this is the championship. Let's get hype. Let's get hype and start the match. All right, so there's the teams. Like I said, I'm bringing actually the same Pokemon. I did tweak a few sets, but that's about it. He is bringing the Scizor this time, which is a good check to my Mimikyu. So that's something I have to kind of keep in mind going into this match, is that he'll have that at his disposal this time. So he ends up leading with like the one Pokemon I didn't want, and that would be this here Nidoqueen. And I actually decided to lead with Manectric because it has like a positive matchup against most of his team, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do it, and unfortunately he leads with the one thing I didn't want to see, and that's the Nidoqueen. I'm kind of hoping he goes for rocks here, maybe bounce him back, but no, he's too smart. He knows that the Espeon's probably coming in from the first match, and yeah, he just goes for the Earth Power, which I do take pretty well. Once again, I am a Assault Vest one. I'm just going to go for a Psychic. That is super effective, but this time he's prepared for the Espeon. Catches me with that Psychic Resist Berry, and yeah, he actually has the Crunch this time. So kudos for him for getting around Espeon. It's unfortunate, but not entirely unexpected. So anyway, in comes my Garchomp. I figured this will force him to switch out. I can maybe, hopefully, just set up some Stealth Rocks. He goes into Zapdos, which is kind of annoying for me because this thing could have Defog, but I'm just going to go for the Stone Edge anyway. I want to see if this thing's going to be, offensive or defensive, and as you can see, it does a ton. That is definitely not physically defensive Zapdos by any stretch. He does have the Citrus Berry, he's not going to do a whole lot, but I have the Ice Resist Berry, the Yachi Berry, so I'm going to be also eating some berries for some effectiveness there, as, yeah, I'm able to survive the Hidden Power Ice and get the 2 KOs with the Stone Edge. So there we go. Dead Zapdos, and in comes now the Alakazam, the thing that, has to be the most scary thing, and I know I pretty much have to sack something to this, and I'm like, you know what, Chomp, I think you're gonna be it, I'm sorry, but maybe, hopefully he makes there's no reason for him not to take a Psychic here, to be honest, so he's just gonna go ahead and click Psychic and just kill something, and Chomp was looking at my team, probably the most expendable thing, so down it goes, but it does give me a opportunity to go into Mimikyu here. If he wants to stay in and die, that, be fine with me. Instead, he goes into Scizor, which is obviously going to be his check to that. I actually just go for the Shadow Claw, just to get damage on if he does switch, and it does get some damage on the Scizor, and I'm like, okay, Ditto, Scizor resists both of his stab moves. Let's go into Ditto here, see what he does. I'm kind of worried they're just going to U-turn here, but he doesn't. He's going for the Bullet Punch, so that could have that worked out really well, actually. I also get to see his set, and it is like a bulky Scizor. I don't think he even has U-turn. No, he does have U-turn, but he decided to do that. But he also has knockoff. I think he had he had defog on this thing too, so he could have defogged. Interesting that he chose not to, especially considering he does have that Dodrio weak to rocks. But yeah, it was good that he didn't, and I'm able to actually just finish this thing off with knockoff. Though he does knock off my Scarf too, so I will no longer have that advantage, but what it does let me do is switch up my moves. I decided just to knock off this thing. It's weak to it. Get rid of the Lumberry. He ends up going for the Recover. But this thing looks defensive enough that with the reduced power of knockoff now, he probably will be able to withstand a couple knockoffs. So I'm like, you know what? I don't really want to take a Scald. Maybe save Ditto for a possible speed tie. I don't know. I'll just go for the U-turn, and I'll go into my Manectric, and he ends up going for the Scald. So that was a really bad play for me. I kind of thought he would just go for another Recover to try to stall out my Scizor. But no, he just goes for that, and that's pretty not good. And I'm like, okay. I could go to Thunderbolt, but he might go into Nidoqueen. Let's go ahead and try to Urfa Predict, because I was so successful at that the first matchup. Unfortunately, he ends up predicting, calling my Urfa Prediction, stays in, would have been able to kill this thing, which would have been fantastic. Unfortunately, now my Manectric is pretty much crippled, and now he's going to go out into his Nidoqueen as I go for a Thunderbolt. So I really need to work on some of these predictions. I feel like sometimes I get into this rut and then I don't stick to my guns, and this is what happens. So I go for a Thunderbolt thinking that he might try to switch out again, try to like stall me out with Burn. So that was really not a good few turns, but I can just go into Keldeo here, and now we have to do a make prediction because that Jellicent can have Water Absorb. I decide just to go for the Hydro Pump, the obvious move. He's been playing it pretty, close, letting me over predict. So I'm just going to go for the Hydro Pump. It does take him out, thankfully. But now he is going to go to Jellicent to force my switch. And I decide, eventually, to go out into this Ditto again, pretty much as fodder. I mean, I am weak to his stab Shadow Ball, so he goes for that, and there's really no reason for him not to. He ends up having Energy Ball instead. That's fine, too. It's going to go ahead and take down Ditto, but this gives me a free switch into my my Mimikyu, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go for this for the Swords Dance. I'm going to risk it all, going for Swords Dance. I was banking on the fact he'd switch out here into the Dodrio, and I was right. And no, this is amazing, because I could go for a Swords Dance, and I have this game in, because his last two Pokemon are Jellicent and that Mega Alakazam. I know I can kill those at +2 with a Shadow Snake, so I'm like, okay, this is the time I'm finally gonna go ahead, win a championship. All I have to do is kill this thing with Play Rough. And there it is. The miss. The miss with Play Rough would have been guaranteed the game right there with Play Rough. Oh no. Mimikyu, you're killing me. He's been the ace in the whole season. The final game costs me the match, man, because I would have been able to kill both of his remaining Pokemon with a Shadow Sneak at +2. But now, my last Pokemon is Keldeo. I just go for, I just go for that. It doesn't matter, because this Jellicent actually is completely immune to most of my moves, except for, like, Icy Wind, and it'll do nothing to that either. So, good game. Man, I guess I'm just destined to be Ash Ketchum, never actually win the big match. Always gonna get there, or the semifinals. Yeah, this one actually really sucks, because I felt like I played good enough to win. It was a really close game, but I know I played, I was setting up the Mimikyu sweep. I had my opportunity. I got what I needed for it, and yeah, why does Play Rough even miss anyway? It's not that strong of a move. It doesn't need a miss chance. Come on, Pokemon. Really? Why is that 90%? Son of a troll. That's pretty much what it is. But it is what it is, and that's that. So the Dolphiones fall. Congratulations to Dr. Slacking for his championship win, and yeah, that's pretty much it here for the PGBL. You probably noticed I've been not posting as much content recently. There has been some speculation, but I've been kind of getting burned out on Pokemon for a while. I just kind of want to explain myself. I'm not saying that this is the end, obviously, or the last battle or anything, but Sword and Shield has not really reinvigorated my passion for the game as it kind of was hoping it would. So yeah, that's kind of why you've been seeing a decrease here in content. Plus, I've been really busy in real life as well. And I've actually been having a project called FFTBattleground, which is a Final Fantasy Tactics rebattler that has really, really hit off on Twitch. It actually is doing really well. Fast track to partner. It's I think we peaked at a few thousand viewers, or no, 1,000+ viewers. Just a few days ago. It's actually been amazing. So I've been really busy with doing that as well. I'll leave the link to that in the description if you want to check it out, if that sort of thing appeals to you. I know it's not quite Pokemon, but it's been my most recent project, and it's been really successful. So basically what I'm trying to say is I haven't had a lot of time. I do want to finish the Pokemon Sword playthrough. And one thing I did notice, and this will be the question of the day, is of course the Pokemon Sword and Shield patch. It's going to be adding a lot of old Pokemon to the game. The first time we've had DLC, I guess patch content in a Pokemon game, I feel like it was kind of in response to a lot of the Sword and Shield controversy, but it's adding a bunch of old Pokemon and a bunch of and a few new Galarian forms as well. I'm kind of psyched about Galarian Slowking. But yeah, leave a comment about what you're most excited for about this patch. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and supporting this channel over the years. I don't know when I'll be posting more battle content, um, but I probably will get back. I always rebound for Pokemon pretty hard, so look for some content. If you don't, stick around, that's fine. But definitely look for some content, later in a few months. I probably end up getting back into it, but we'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching, guys. Unfortunately, it's another championship lost, but what are you going to do? Next time, later.